So is this really a TBR video? I've never actually done a TBR video for this channel, and that's because reading is one of my relaxing hobbies, so I try not to put a lot of pressure on myself to read a certain number of books or a certain list of books each month, but I'm making an exception for Nonfiction November. For those of you that are unaware, Nonfiction November is an event put on by Olive over at a book Olive, so I will link her announcement video in the description box. To participate, all you have to do is read one nonfiction book, but I am actually going to try to read books based on the 4 prompts that are part of this event. So Olive's channel is actually one of the first booktube channels that I found back when I was a booktube lurker that included nonfiction, and she is one of the queens of booktube, so make sure you check out her channel if you haven't already done so. So the first prompt is collection, and for that I'm planning to read It Happened in Virginia, Remarkable Events That Shaped History by Emily Hines. And of course, since I live in the great Commonwealth of Virginia, I think I will have a lot of personal connections to the intriguing people and events and stories that are included in this book. And it's a book that's been on my shelf for a really long time, so I hope I will get to it this month. The second prompt is industry, and for that I hope to read Last Train to Paradise, Henry Flagler and the Spectacular Rise and Fall of the Railroad That Crossed an Ocean by Les Standaford. I'm actually planning a trip to Key West next year with one of my really great friends, and this book was recommended to me by her daughter who actually lives in Key West, so I'm very excited to read a bit about it before my trip. This tells the extraordinary true account of the construction and spectacular demise of the Key West Railroad, one of the greatest engineering feats ever undertaken, destroyed in one fell swoop by the Labor Day hurricane of 1935. The next prompt is style, and you know I have to work a Kennedy book in here somewhere. So I am planning to read Jack Kennedy, Elusive Hero by Chris Matthews, and this is actually going to be a buddy read with 3 other booktubers. So I'm reading with Summer over at Cozy Reading with Quaker Cats, and she's actually the one who gifted this book to me, and that was such an amazing surprise. And Mark over at Book Time with Elvis is also participating. And of course, is there any buddy read, read along, read-a-thon that he doesn't participate in? I don't know how he keeps up with that. Pay over at Attention will also be reading with us, and he is actually a bit of a JFK admirer as well. So I think we have a really awesome group, and I'm excited to read this one. And I thought it would fit the prompt because, I mean, look at this guy. Is there any president more stylish than him? I think not. The next 2 books I want to read for style I thought would be an interesting pairing, and they are George Washington's Rules of Civility and Decent Behavior in Company and Conversation with an Introduction by Letitia Baldridge, and The Art of Civilized Conversation, A Guide to Expressing Yourself with Style and Grace by Margaret Shepard with Sharon Hogan. So hopefully I will pick up some tips and tricks that will help me improve my conversational style, and I will definitely pass along any neat advice I come across in these 2 books. The last book that I thought would fit with style is Stephen King on Writing, a Memoir of the Craft, and this is one of those books that I've always wanted to read. Of course, I'm hoping to learn a bit about how Stephen King developed his writing style, and I think he will be an interesting person to learn a little bit more about. For the final prompt, which is treatment, I have 2 books picked out. The first one is The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat and Other Clinical Tales by Oliver Sacks. And this book talks about different case studies of people with neurological disorders. I think this will be very enlightening, and from what I understand, this doctor tells these stories in a very sympathetic way where you really feel for the patients. It's not really just a clinical sort of story. So I'm excited for that one. And the last book that I will be reading in November is The Case of the Murderous Dr. Cream, The Hunt for a Victorian-Era Serial Killer by Dean Jobb. This is going to be a buddy read with my booktube bestie, Lady Jane Books, so I'm very excited about this. I think this story will be fascinating because it tells the story of a doctor who goes bad, and I think that's just so shocking for most of us because it is a violation of that sacred trust that we put in doctors to heal us, to treat us, and to do no harm. So I am very interested in this story, and I think it's a great mixture of true crime and courtroom drama. So I hope it lives up to my expectations. So that's what I have for my Nonfiction November TBR, pile of possibilities, whatever you want to call it. I don't think there's a unit of booktube police out there who are going to come apprehend me if I don't live up to this TBR, but I know I will at least read Jack Kennedy, Elusive Hero, and The Murderous Case of Dr. Cream because those are buddy reads. So I hope everyone has a splendid afternoon, nothing less than splendid, and thank you for watching. If you have read any of these books, please shoot me a comment, or if you're participating in Nonfiction November, please let me know what your picks are, and I hope I'll see you in the next video.